Namaste. Good evening, ladies, lords, distinguished guests, scholars, and my dear friends. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this unique initiative of National Indian Students and Alumni Union Ideas for India in association with Foreign and Commonwealth Office and London and Partners. By the way of introduction, my name is Monish Borana. I am the president of this youth body called Nisau. We are Apex organization representing students, alumni, and young professionals of Indian origin. As umbrella body of Indian related societies in the UK, we have a pan-UK presence and our official affiliate number exceeds 30, including societies from Cambridge, Oxford, LSE, Edinburgh and Belfast. As Nisau celebrates its 5th anniversary, there cannot be a better way than engaging India's young politicians in an intellectually stimulating discussion on how to transform India and how to develop India-UK relationship further. Before I open the floor to this 13 amazing and influential future leaders of India, I would like to invite our founder and chairperson, Sanam Arora, to discuss the journey that Nisau has taken so far since its inception. Over to you, Sanam. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming today. It is a very, very special moment in our journey. And first of all, thank you to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office for providing us this opportunity. From time to time, we keep hosting delegations that the FCO brings from India to further the UK-India relationship. But this one in particular is very unique because this is the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shreya and Natalia, but this is the first time that anywhere in the world such an event is happening where a delegation of a country's future political leaders and policymakers has been selected, handpicked by the British government. They've been brought over and they're engaging with their Indian students counterpart in the UK. I must emphasize though that this is a cross-party delegation and Nisau is a completely apolitical organization. We are a-religious in nature and we're not affiliated to any political party in India or in the UK for that matter. Although from time to time we will work with different political parties in order to achieve the best outcomes for students and young professionals of Indian origin. I will just take a few minutes before we open the floor to the pitches to take you through the journey that Nisau has had. We were founded just over 5 years ago, so back in 2012. I was a student at the LSE and I used to run the LSE's India Society. And what I realized at that time, back in 2012, was that there were two things that were happening. One was that there was not a single national platform that could connect Indian students together. There was lots of good work happening everywhere in the country, in LSE, in Belfast, in Edinburgh, in Oxford, in Cambridge, but there was no uniting factor that brought all the Indian students together. Back then in 2012, at any point in time, there were in excess of 65 to 70,000 students in the country. Today the number has unfortunately fallen and I'll come on to that in a second. But even today we have more than 40,000 students, Indian students in the country, and of course many, many thousands of alumni and young professionals who form part of this living bridge that our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, refers to the Indian diaspora as. And so like I was saying, there was no body that could connect these Indian students. And secondly, another thing that was happening was there was a lot of unfortunate systematic immigration change that was taking place in the country. Of course, you have to respect what's happening in the country. You know, there are political challenges that the UK is faced with. Brexit has happened for a reason, and that is due to concerns with immigration. But as far as we are concerned, student immigration shouldn't fall victim to that. But for some political gains potentially or political pressures, a lot of negative immigration impacts happen. So back in sort of 2012-13, about 900 odd colleges got shut. These were previously called highly trusted sponsors, then they weren't. So the impact on students, however, was overlooked, and that was a systematic failure, unfortunately, in the UK. At the same time, you know, post-study work visa was getting removed, which is, as Indian students will appreciate, one of the key asks of Indian students. So bringing these two macroeconomic factors together, the political scenario, as well as the fact that there was a gap in the market, there was no uniting force that could bring Indian students together, we came up, me and a girl called Binasha, who is no longer here with us today, but we came up with the concept of National Indian Students and Alumni Union UK. And our journey over these 5 years has been absolutely incredible. We work very closely with the Indian government. Dr. Vora is here from the High Commission today, with various counterparts in the UK government. So, of course, FCO, London and Partners, the Mayor of London. We've even been invited by the Australian government to give thought leadership on best practice for international students. So there is, from the Indian government especially, we've had a lot of support. So every year since 2014, we've been speaking at the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is the flagship event that the Ministry of External Affairs holds every year. It's now become a every other year event, where they invite thousands of Indian diaspora members will fly over to India to concentrate on issues that need focus from a diaspora perspective and see how the diaspora can help in the socio-economic development of India. So we're very grateful. Since 2014, when the regional Pravasi Bharatiya Divas happened in London, to 2015 in Gujarat, 2016 in Delhi, where we were fortunate enough, me and our team, to have spent time with Mrs. Swaraj and General V.K. Singh and the Honourable HRD Minister, Mr. Prakash Javadekar, for more than 8 hours. So regardless of political affiliation, we are very thankful for the amount of time that they are prepared to invest, that the Indian government, regardless of political affiliation, is prepared to invest in its diaspora, particularly its young Indian diaspora. And Mrs. Swaraj often refers to the Indian diaspora, especially the young people, as brand ambassadors of Brand India. And at Nisau, we have really taken this to heart, because we firmly believe in this statement of Brand India. So every single student, every single young professional is a brand ambassador. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. Our vision ultimately is to effectively equip Indian students, alumni, young professionals with the knowledge about India that they need to represent India adequately abroad. If, for example, tourism, and we've got none other than Mr. Ramesh Arora with us, who is India's tourism ambassador. Things like tourism, people often ask you questions like, is it safe? For example, there's a lot of negative media rhetoric. Of course it's safe. It's just as safe as it would be if you were in Neasden, potentially. So you can't stereotype things, but also you shouldn't shy away from challenges. So it's that sort of training and equipping people with the knowledge that they need to represent India that we want to do. Ultimately, the aim is, when we are, a lot of our members and followers are Indian citizens resident in the UK for however long. Many of them are British citizens who may travel to India, but are obviously all people of Indian origin. So really, these are unshakable bonds that we want to develop further. And this educational partnership between the UK and India has historically been the strongest pillar, in our opinion, in the relationship between the bilateral relationship between the two nations. From Mahatma Gandhi to Manmohan Singh, to B.R. Ambedkar, who's the architect of the Indian Constitution. They all have one thing in common, which is that they were all Indian students in the UK. And it is with that in mind that Nisau wants to ensure that all the negative rhetoric around Indian students not coming to the UK anymore, the fact that Indian students weren't adequately represented 5 years ago when we were founded, despite all these great people having studied in the UK, says that there was a gap in the market. We effectively filled that gap in the market, and now we need your support. As we celebrate 5 years today, this is the very first of our 5-year celebrations. This is also a little ode from our side to mark the UK-India Year of Culture, which is a unique initiative in our two countries this year. We just want to ensure that Indian students are respected as a community, and I think we've achieved that to a certain extent. Before Nisau was formed, there was no one looking after the thousands of Indian students whose visas had been curtailed, or who were told they need to go back in just a small space of 60 days if they couldn't find an alternative college. There was no one talking about post-study work visa removal. We have unfortunately dealt also, together with the High Commission, cases of, there's been one extreme case of rape of an Indian student. There have been cases by far in between, immigration cases, loss of passport, loss of BPR, scared concerns. Unfortunately, recently, at Parliament and other places, there have been attacks. So we'll often get calls from students asking about, safety measures, etc. So the entire spectrum of grievance redressal we've helped with. And like I said, we work very closely with the Indian government to help represent these students properly. And I know I'm keeping you from the pitches, which is what we're here for, but I'll just very quickly walk you through the sort of thing we do. So in the UK, a lot of Indian students and Commonwealth students don't know that they're actually eligible to vote. So even if you're a resident in the UK for as short as a period of 12 months, you're eligible to vote. So we will run campaigns that are completely apolitical in nature, but that encourage you to vote, as well as inform you that you are eligible to vote in the first place, because that's quite a cool thing. You can't go to another country on a temporary student visa and vote, but you can do that as a citizen of the Commonwealth of Nations in the UK. But most people don't know about it. If they do know about it, they're not necessarily engaged enough. So we play that awareness and encouragement part. That is a quick slide from last year where this is a session where I mentioned where Mrs. Swaraj, Mr. Zavdekar, General V.K. Singh, Mr. Moole, who is the Joint Secretary for the Ministry of External Affairs, they were all sort of engaged for a good 7-8 hours with us on what are the problems that Indian students face abroad and how can we effectively develop them into brand ambassadors of Brand India. We are lucky and we're fortunate and we're honored that we're invited to a number of different forums. This is an exclusive report that we were commissioned by the Mayor of London into Indian students' experiences in the UK. First time ever this sort of thing happened last year. And off the back of that, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and the then Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, would come up with proposals to present in Parliament for the welfare of Indian students. Westminster Legal Policy Forum, a non-parliamentary forum but with parliamentary patrons from everywhere. Every year we're invited at least 2 to 3 times to talk about what the future course of immigration should be. That's a proposal we submitted to the Ministry of External Affairs almost 2 years ago now for the inception of an international students body. How many of you know how many Indian students leave India every year to go abroad to study? Any guesses? Shout some numbers, guys. So every year, how many Indian students do we think leave India to go abroad and study?
1 million.
4 to 5 million.
4 to 5? 4 to 5 lakh? Huh.
The ratio differs with the states, I believe.
100,000? 100,000? It's a good shout. Couple more?
Million.
Not quite, not quite. But okay, 300,000 students, 2014 statistic, tends to be more or less around that number. And so that's a country the size of the Bahamas, right, that leaves India every year to go abroad and study. And that number is only slated to grow. We are growing at a compound annual growth rate of 7 to 8% every year. And the gap between demand and supply in India's education infrastructure means that this number will continue to rise. So with that in mind, are we doing anything constructive to actually, do we even know who all these students are? I don't think so. Do we know what they're going abroad to study? No. Do we know what sort of, when are they expected to come back? Do we know tomorrow if some bomb, if ISIS bombs some country, how many of our students will be affected? I don't think we know that sort of thing. And do we know that all the best practice and knowledge that these students gain when they're in the countries that they go to, do we have a mechanism of bringing that back into the country? No, we don't. So putting all of that together, we have come up with an idea of an International Indian Students Association. We proposed this idea to the Ministry of External Affairs in 2015, subsequently in 2016, and then again at the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in Bangalore in 2017 in January. And hopefully the ministry is taking that on board, because the return on investment, India is spending billions and billions of dollars every year sending students abroad, but the return on investment is low. Because we are not able to capitalize on the knowledge that these students, when they come back to India, can bring to India. So we know about remittances, we know how well that's worked for India, we know about Silicon Valley and how the diaspora has really helped grow India from an IT point of view, but what can we do with these students to help India's transfer to a knowledge economy? And that's the sort of thought leadership we provide regularly to the Indian government. also increasingly to the British government, all the stakeholders, including the FCO, Mayor of London, like I said. But I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to open the floor to Gayatri Rafter, who is one of our vice presidents, to go through the rules for pitching and introduce our pitchers today. Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. I will be introducing the guiding principles for tonight's pitching. So just to go through it, all of you have been provided with the pitching rules already, but just to accustom the audience with the rules. So the delegates will have a total of 3 minutes to pitch their ideas. You will be notified when there are 2 minutes remaining. We have Stuti sitting there in yellow, who has 2 placards. She will be notifying you with the yellow placard when 2 minutes are up, and the red placard when 3 minutes are up. So you must present your ideas for India's growth, focusing on what you think are the most important ideas needed to focus. You are encouraged to articulate how you would go about implementing the ideas and why your area of focus is important. Yeah? No expression shall be accepted which is offensive, personal, or defamatory in nature, either to another political party nor to any person. If you would like to refer to any slides, please let the moderator know in advance, and the moderator is Sanam here. She will be there to help you out. Members of the audience will also be given the opportunity to ask questions at the end, which will be again moderated by our moderator Sanam. And again, please wait for the moderator to present the questions to you before answering any of the questions presented by the audience. You may use notes to help you with your speeches and make notes during the presentations. And if you spot someone breaking the rules, do let any of us know or Sanam know, who is again the moderator. So, presenting our first delegate, Dakshita Garwal, who is from the ABVP Students Wing of the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. So, Dakshita, yeah.
Namaste, Vande Mataram to all my brothers and sisters of India. So I am overwhelmed to stand in front of Nisau, which is looking forward to empower UK-India ties in completely a political and a religious way, and gladly I am a part of ABVP, that is the student wing of Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, which is apolitical as well. So, in phasing on my idea for India, I'll do it in a two-way. Firstly, the local problems of India, and second is the globe. Firstly, I believe that our villages are needed to be accepted as ground of development themselves. It has been largely seen that migration from villages to cities is not just in search of jobs, but to get rid of intransparency and insufficient means and the system of zamindari and the people of higher caste exploiting them. So I believe that local governments like municipalities, these municipalities and local governments can be legendary structures, and clearly it could call for a better center-state relationship in India as well. Another issue that is, I'll call it a circle, which is not perhaps vicious. We have poverty, okay, which is due to lack of jobs and skills. The lack of jobs and skills is due to lack of education, and then we are trapped in a system, and I call it a circle. It is not a vicious circle, but a circle of transmutation, where if we solve a single problem, that is education, if we empower education, we solve the problem of education, as in the quality of education is enhanced, the opportunity to education, free education is given to each and every Indian, because India is a young country. So we would certainly solve the problem of jobs, skilling as well. Okay. Health facilities is the next factor. It would be great if yoga, Ayurveda, traditional things, the cultural Indian health methods are promoted. That would be really helpful. And on a global level, terrorism and climate change are the major problems. which where UK and India ties are important because they are the oldest. That is the oldest friendly relationship I guess India has, and a clear stand of UK on such problems that India faces will clearly give us a direction to in a productive manner to solve these problems. And at the end, I think India must work on her own shadow. We must have our own model of development, and Indian culture is not just about different kind of festivals, different kind of religion, different kind of languages, the food we eat, but it is the way we maintain relationships, the way we maintain relationships and maintain the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Thank you. Bharat Mata ki jai.
That was very insightful indeed, Dakshita. Our next delegate is Karishma Thakur from the NSUI, Students' Wing of the Congress Party.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskar. I am Karishma Thakur. I am former secretary of Delhi University Students' Union, and I represented 2 lakh students of Delhi University. Currently, I am the national secretary of the NSUI. I have a dream of a rape-free India. An India where women can walk freely, talk freely, and wear what they like. We have seen that we are a developing nation, but the agenda of women empowerment, women security is only on the manifestos at the time of elections. I am here to empower women, I am here to motivate them, encourage them and tell them, don't look for a knight, look for a sword in your fight. I am here in London, and over here I have seen people talking about industrialization, education, trade, commerce. But on the other hand, I have seen that in India we are still struggling with basic amenities like clothing, food, water, economy, and we feel that somewhere we are neglecting these issues. Unemployment and poverty is the most important challenge which India is facing today. On the other hand, I would like to mention here that even though there are certain areas where we need to work upon, but I am proud to say that I come from the land of Bhagat Singh, Mahatma Gandhi, Sukhdev, Rani Lakshmi Bai, and in today's 21st century, it's Sachin Tendulkar, land of APJ Abdul Kalam, Amitabh Bachchan, who not only inspire Indians, but they inspire the world. I am here to tell you all, request you all, that you are here in London, and India is the largest democracy. We believe in unity in diversity, where a Hindu celebrates Eid, a Muslim celebrates Diwali. We are the messenger of love and peace, and we want that the terrorism can only be fought with love. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. We should just have seminars, talk shows, and love is the key to fight with terrorism. And in the end, I would like to say, कहीं धर्म बनते हैं तो कहीं ईमान बनते हैं, कहीं हिंदू बनते हैं तो कहीं मुसलमान बनते हैं, लेकिन भारत की सरजमी पर आकर तो देख साकी जहां सिर्फ इंसान ही इंसान बनते हैं। जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार।
Thank you, Karishma. Our third delegate is Hardik Nain from the NSUI as well, which is the student wing of the Congress Party.
Hello, my dear friends. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I'm Hardik Singh Nain from Punjab University. Well, friends, I dream of an India which guarantees education for all. I dream of an India which guarantees employment for all. I dream of an India which is poverty free. I dream of an India which guarantees cleaner air and water, thus helping with climate change. I dream of an India which does all this on the basis of equality. An India which is free of the demon of inequality on the basis of religion, caste, sect or gender. And I believe in achieving all this, a necessary check is required on corruption and population. By now, I'm pretty sure you're all clear about what I perceive as the major issues concerning our nation. Now let me show you all my Brahmastra, or what I consider as the most potent weapon in addressing these issues. That, my friends, is this: mobile technology. You must all be shocked. But let me tell you, the age of digitization is coming and India is the pioneer. Do not trust me yet. Let me just throw you some examples that I've just jotted down. There is a smart farming system, which is an app-based network, which is helping the smaller farmer, giving them knowledge and information. A clear example, I'm an eyewitness to such an example where my uncle, who is an uneducated farmer, looks at graphical pictures, identifying crop diseases and newer ways to increase his produce. Octotank from Chennai sends drones to remote areas when a distress call is raised, carrying medical supplies and equipment, helping with the healthcare. Bhuvida from Manav Rachana University, Faridabad, aims to open up public contracting through blockchain technology, providing transparency, fighting corruption. IIT Kharagpur is working on a crowdsourced corruption database with a layer of artificial intelligence. Asha is providing not so privileged women seeking earning opportunity, acting as a marketplace at a very micro level. Anj aims to check air pollution due to burning of biomass in rural areas which lack LPG. They have innovated a modern stove design which is accessible and affordable. They provide informed making the same, which is helping women become entrepreneurs as well in the rural areas. Population and inequality, I guess, can be checked at a personal level through awareness. Awareness, which I believe is just a piece of information. And I think there is no better way to spread information except of this. Not yet concerned, let me just throw you some last facts. I know the time is over, but I guess this is very necessary for the people to know. Rural India considers mobile as 90% of rural India consider the mobile as the only piece of information, as the access or key to the world. The facts are, internet user base grew by 7% to 263 million in the year 2016. Rural rural people using the internet grew by 22% in the last year, and it has crossed the mark of 600 million in the June 2017. So I hope these facts will be enough for you to understand the power of mobile technology in transforming India. Thank you. Sorry, I wasted the time.
Thank you, Hardik. Our fourth delegate is Gitoshri Sarkar, who is from the SFI, which is the Students' Wing of the Communist Party of India, Marxist. Gitoshri.
Hello, good evening. Many of my friends told about poverty, education. I want to say another one. The biggest problem that we are facing in today's India is constant threat of division. A group of people of India is trying to divide the society in the name of various things, but we know that India is a land of unity in diversity. But even then, this is also one of the biggest challenge for our country. India has a vast diversity of language, religion, culture, caste, class, etc. This gives us the opportunity to live and interact with diverse variety of population. This gives us the opportunity to interact with different types of people with different shades of ideas. This, to my understanding, help us to progress of the country. This can transform India. Along with that, I must admit that we, the citizen of India, enjoy political freedom. There are many problems, but still we have that independence. But on the other hand, we do not have economic independence. To my understanding, economic independence is the most important factor for transforming our country. This economic freedom can help us to solving a large share of issues, but not on the economic freedom, but moral independence, social independence. These are being hampered every day. The basic needs of the people like food, cloth, shelter, health issues, education, everything is matter, and it's being denied in our country regularly. This is a basic issues, and until these basic issues are being addressed, India can never progress forward, but it will see a backward movement every single day. I like to say that I think it's the best time to use the unity in diversity as a power to, in a true sense, in a positive sense. I want to sing a song. Basically, I am from West Bengal and I am carrying the legacy of Rabindranath Tagore. We all know about this. We all know about our national anthem. Which part I want to sing? It's not the part of national anthem, but I think it's the best one. It's help us to understand what is the India. Can I sing? অহরহ তব আহ্বান প্রচারিত শুনি তব উদার বাণী হিন্দু বৌদ্ধ শিখ জৈন পারসিক মুসলমান খ্রিস্টানি পূরব পশ্চিমাসে তব সিংহাসন পাশে প্রেম হার হয় গাথা জনগণৈক বিধায়ক জয় হে ভারত ভাগ্য বিধাতা জয় হে জয় হে জয় হে জয় 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 হে. But it's not the part of our national anthem. And you have a lovely voice. Okay. So, our fifth delegate is Narendra Sampal, who is from the ABVP, which is the student wing of the Rashtriya
Good evening, everyone. Actually, when we are about to speak about the problems of India, about the growth of India, then we have to find out what's the problem are first. So there are many problems, and some of my friends has also point out many, and the other delegates will point out many others. But the most important problem is infrastructure, and we have economy. Our Indian economy is not that good. I mean, before pre-British era, the economy of India was about, we contribute about 23%, 24% of the world GDP, but now it's very less. So we have to rise the economy, and the workforce of India, because 47 to 48% of the population is workforce is in the agriculture sector, and in the industrial sector there is only 23 to 24%, and in the service sector it's only about 30%. So we have to increase the industry sector because we already have the potential of primary sector, that is agriculture, and we have to increase the agriculture sector because we cannot trust so much in service sector because it's very volatile in nature. and we are having inflow of capital through FDI and FII, but we always prefer FDI than FII. And also there are a lot of problems, health, education, but education is also a solution, not a problem, because for every problem we can see in one way or that it is an opportunity. So we have to do something and make this problem an opportunity. So education, because I belong to the state of Manipur, that is in northeastern part of India, and there the infrastructure is worse than other part of the country, and many youth, undereducated youth, become part of the insurgency in there. So we have to be careful on education, but talking about all that, we cannot forget about corruption. So corruption, we can only stop corruption with students' activism. That's my belief. And ultimately, India is a huge country. Even a state like UP has more than the population of some few countries of the world. So India is very huge, and India is very diverse. And for every 10 kilometers, there is change in tradition, change in culture, change in dialect. And we have to have an integration of all these people. Cultural integration, emotional integration, that's the much. Because we have the largest number of youth in the world. This is a demographic dividend, but it can become a demographic disaster if we cannot provide them the right education and right amount of knowledge. Thank you.
Our sixth delegate is Anupriya from the Janata Dal United.
Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal. I am Anupriya and I am a former Secretary of Patna University Student Union. For the growth of any country, like only things that is important is understanding the nature of resources of country and how to utilize that resources in the best possible manner. And what I think in India is full of resources, like it has intellectuals, youth, potentials in entrepreneurs, healthy environments, and many more countless things. And lack of opportunities to give these resources a proper platform is the biggest barrier in the transformation of India. And the crucial issue that need urgent attention and focus are countless, because at present India is afraid to change. For instance, the policy of reservation system in India had done its work, and if it did not, then government should implement it and bring something that works, but it cannot be changed. Because of the policies of both bank, we have lot of other way to think backwards, competent, and help them to win their challenges, but we do not do it because we do not want transformations. And if we talk about the policies, health and education plays an important role in transformation in any country, and in India only 1% of total taxes goes for education and research. Now you can imagine how the policies are regarding transformation. Scientists have not enough means for experiment and research. Even APJ Abdul Kalam, at his starting phase, when he was scientist, carried the part of launches on bicycle. So the policies are hardly changing in India. We can make the transformation faster, make it easy for entrepreneurs who took Japan to its height. Its government did its part, but the workload was its entrepreneurs, the guys who carried Toyota, Honda, Sony, Nissan, etc. The only way a country can get out misery is by embalming entrepreneurs. Every child going to good school. If we get child to a good school like DPS, Kendriya Vidyalaya, then we all have to 20x boost in productivity. Time to add more judges and policies. When the Judicious is a type-functional society, cannot progress, fighting corruption, manufacturing for India, in India, unlocking the potential of India's women, taps our sun and get out of poison energy. India cannot forgive depend upon other countries for oil. Coals will kill our environment, hydropowers will kill our forests. Thus, we can need to use solar power as a national priority. Even it is expensive for now, we must pull our national efforts and get the economics of scale. This will give us energy security. By this, I will think to end my ideas to transform or make growth in India. Thank you. Namaste and Jai Hind.
Our next delegate is Rajesh Gurani, who is from ABVP, the students wing of the Rashtriya Sabha Swayamsevak Sangh as well.
Thank you. Good evening, one and all. India is a country where people belongs to the most diverse category, and India became independent on the 15th August 1947 from the British rule after a long time. Since then, many of this happened due to which we are still belongs to counted in the developing country, not a developed country, because we are facing from many problems still India is facing. And every government since independence, still all governments are trying to improve the basic facilities and try to improve the India and try to get out of the many problems. But still we are suffering many problems. I would like to say with you all, some major problem in the India is corruption. And when corruption comes, we are always telling that corruption can only happen because of political leaders. Not only the political leaders are not only the reason for the corruption, and we are also the part of that. When we go to any government office for any work, we are not ready to stay there, and we are not have a time to spend there. We are in hurry we are giving the money for getting our work done. So this is the basic mindset of Indians. This is the initiating of the corruption. So we have to change this mindset firstly, and second one is that the lack of environmental concern. In India, we don't want to think about even once about the environmental. We use the plastics and we leave the electric energy being wasted. We don't care about the pollution also. So, as we are knowing, Delhi is now very much polluted because of our careless nature. This is also a part we have to change in youths in India, and also the lack of awareness about education and health. And already my friends are mentioned about education. Many of the rural areas still rural people are not getting well educated because of the poverty. Both education and poverty are vice versa. Because if we are illiterate, he is becoming a poor, or he is a poor, he can't get a good education. We have to change this problem also, and health is also the major issue in India. That we are not giving the good awareness about the health. We are not giving the awareness about dangerous diseases and spreadable diseases also. We have to awareing all them. And also India having the one more problem like discrimination and disrespectful others. As we all know that the major problem of the India is disrespectful and discriminating behavior towards the people belonging to the other caste, religion, community, color, gender or any other areas. People are jealous of similar people. We are jealous to similar people and disrespectful for the dissimilar people. And thanks to all of you to providing this opportunity to present my ideas, and thank you very much.
Our next delegate is Tapas Panigrahi from the BCJD, which is the students wing of the Biju Janata Dal.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Tapas Kumar Panigrahi from India. First of all, I would like to say the special thanks to NIS Edu and all family to arrange such beautiful program. Please have a clap for them. First of all, I will give some introduction of myself. I am Tapas. When I was in 20, I began get started in politics. I was trying to connect with people and doing some social activities. Now I gave much more time in politics just because I have simply interested in politics. You people all know that we are a developing country and we have the youth power. You people know 65% youth people in India are below 35 years. This is our biggest power. All nation knows this is our biggest power. I think nowadays the problem of India is, and that positive that we have a government, we understood the young, we have to focus on young generation, how they will get managed. Government of India has to focus on better education. You know, in this time, education system plays a vital role in all nations. Government has to do the better health care for everyone. Government has to give 100% power to every officials, every person. Government has to focus on better transportation in all over India. Safety and security for all citizens, and have to do the corruption-free country. You people know India is a cultivated country. Now, a great part in revolution of agriculture sector in India. Now, India is a developing country. If these are implemented, around 20 to 25 years, we will be a developed country. Basic concern is such as the scarcity, water and electricity, affordable access to information, financial inclusion. Especially in new democracies, education policy affects the opportunity and getting a good job and social mobility. Thank you.
Our next delegate is Feroz Khan from the NSUI, the student wing of the Congress Party.
Assalamu alaikum, Namaskar. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I don't know where he is the founder. It feels like it's like NSUI. I'm the national president of NSUI. So I think all of you know the challenges India is facing. At the age of 16, I decided to join the politics, and being the first generation politician from my family, two from Jammu and Kashmir, and from a village where there is no electricity and water, still no road. So being a professional politician, it was very difficult, but 12 years of student activism, 5 years of national politics. I have been to whole of India, every college and every university. Beautiful country, diverse country, I love my country. But after these long years, when Rahul Gandhi, the Vice President of our India Congress Committee, came into the political system, he opened the doors of transformation so that young politicians, young leaders can actually be there and be in the Congress Party, be in the political system. Big transformation process, we call it. It's actually the democratization of NSUI, the student wing of Congress Party, the Youth Congress. So I was one of them. I fought the election from Jammu and Kashmir. I won. I remained as National Secretary and National General Secretary of the student wing of Congress Party, and I'm the National President. It's the biggest, largest electric democratic student wing, student organization, not of the India but of the world. I'm proud to be the National President. And I think in last 4 months, being the President, we have won almost all the student union elections of the country. Like Delhi University, 1 lakh and 40,000 students who go to vote. This is not possible in another country. It's a beautiful, nation. So we have problems. Thank you very much. We have our own problems: education, poverty, unemployment. We need, 30,000 jobs per day, but we are able to give only 480 or 500. So, what I believe is it can be only solved if we have creative leaders, young leaders, leaders from all communities and all diversities. And we are a young, country. We are a young generation, and it should be young people who will lead. And obviously, the people and staying here, who are studying here, come back like Gandhi came, Nehru came, Ambedkar came. Our country is a beautiful country, and we actually love to see you there, working with us, and fighting with us, and making India a country peaceful, lovable, and tolerant, and a space for everyone, from every community, for every religion, from every dynasty. Thank you very much. I cannot thank you.
Thank you, Feroz. Our next delegate is Tanuj Khatri, who is from the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha.
It is okay. NISAU के इस सभागार में उपस्थित NISAU के सभी पदाधिकारीगण का मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं कि हमें इतने दूर से आने के बाद यहां पर आप सबसे अपनी बात साझा करने का अवसर आपने प्रदान किया। मैं तनुज खत्री, रांची यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन का इलेक्टेड प्रेसिडेंट हूं। झारखंड की सेकंड लार्जेस्ट पार्टी झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा का प्रतिनिधित्व कर रहा हूं। बहुत गर्व की बात यह होती है जब इतने दूर से आप किसी दूसरे विदेश में जाते हैं तो वहां पर भाषाओं के बंधन को तोड़ना सिर्फ अपने देश के लोगों के सामने ही संभव हो पाता है। यहां पे हमें बताया गया कि भारत में क्या कठिनाइयां हैं, क्या परेशानियां हैं और उनके समाधान क्या है। क्योंकि 8 वर्ष से मैं छात्र राजनीति को देख रहा हूं, समझ रहा हूं और उसमें छात्रों के द्वारा चुना भी गया। मैं मानता हूं किसी भी देश, किसी भी राज्य में सिर्फ अगर एक चीज को सुधार दिया जाए तो बाकी सारी चीजें खुद ब खुद सुधर जाएंगी। वो है वहां का एजुकेशन सिस्टम, वहां की शिक्षण व्यवस्था। आमतौर पर भारत में जो शिक्षा व्यवस्था है, हमारे यहां या तो क्लासेस नहीं होती है या जब क्लासेस होती है तो वहां ना स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं ना टीचर्स होते हैं। कुछ टीचर्स आते हैं और अपने पुराने, अगर उनकी उम्र 60 साल हो गई है तो वो 20 साल 25 साल पुराने अपने ओल्ड नोटबुक्स को लेकर के आते हैं और वो बोलते हैं कि लिख लीजिए। इसमें बदलाव की जरूरत है। अगर ये बदलाव हो जाएगा तो उच्च शिक्षा के लिए भी जो पलायन होता है हमारे देश से, जो ड्रेन होता है, वो भी नहीं होगा। अगर अच्छी शिक्षा आपको अपने घर में मिलेगी तो कोई नहीं जाना चाहता है बाहर। ये एक सच्चाई है। तो एक छात्र नेता के होने के नाते, एक छात्र होने के नाते मैं यही चाहूंगा कि आप यहां से भी वही बदलाव लाने की कोशिश करें और यहां से हमें वैसे सुझाव भेजें जो हम भारत में उसके एजुकेशन सिस्टम को बदलाव कर पाए। क्योंकि आप अगर दूसरे अपने देश से बाहर पढ़ रहे होते हैं तो, माफी चाहूंगा, तो हमें एक मोटिवेशन की जरूरत होती है। भारत में 65% युवा है, युवाओं का देश है भारत।
There are cultural issues which India face as such. So we should also like large number of people have concentrated their presentation here on education, but it will be startling to find that the countries in Europe which had some of the best educated minds as such, they were the countries which have the largest number of the biggest inequalities prevail in those countries. The worst wars were fought between the states and between the statesmen who were more educated, who were having the resources with them. The issue is that you need to inculcate better habits in person. That the management of diversity, how a country is going to manage diversity is important, and therein we need to move away from the Occidental approach which India as such has adopted, and should have a more Indic approach in its understanding. As far as the question, as far as the specific key areas are concerned, I think lot of things which happen in India, the power has to be taken away from the state. The state cannot be the source of the basis of the nation as such. So it should move to society. Society should have a more important role in how the society, how our relationships at various levels are being managed as such. Then there is a question of rule of law, because law as such plays a very important role in the modern society in regulation of all kind of relationships. And here I believe that the access to justice is a key concern. The belief in system, that the system is standing with you, how people see state and how state should see people. That has to undergo a paradigm shift. The government, the process, like when the national education policy was being discussed in India, at that point of time, the government of India engaged with the stakeholders, with more than 1.5 lakh stakeholders. So that kind of shift, monumental shift, has to be brought. With coming of social media and with this digital world, the symmetry. I will just take 30 to 40 seconds more. The hegemony of the owner of power is also shifting quite rapidly, and we are getting more innovative ideas. So the manner in which Hardik pointed out that how mobile technology could be more effectively used in resolving crisis is important. India has also to understand how the world trade is, the terms of trade across globe is happening, and it has to inculcate those particular methods. And it should be more. The national economic interest should guide India's behavior. It should be more practical, pragmatic, yet it should have some dogmatic approach. And ultimately, rather than having so much of isms, this ism and that ism, if constitutionalism and the constitutional values, the ideas of justice, liberty, equality should guide us. Goodbye.
Our next delegate is VP Sanu from SFI, the Students' Wing of the Communist Party of India, Marxist.
Thank you, Nisau and UK Indian people, to giving me an opportunity to me and my friends to express our feelings, our ideas here in UK. Basically, my friends already said about that diversity, and the unity in the diversity is not a political term in India. That's actually the way of life in India happening. So the major strength of India is human resources itself. Already somebody mentioned that under 35 age, the total population is 65% of total population is under 35 age. That means that more productive youth is how India. And Indians are working in all over India, all over world. But the unemployment is the major problem we are facing now. And not only unemployment and underemployment, other thing that problem with malnutrition, problem with education and dropout from schools, and only the small part of the total population, that means 24.6% of total population is getting opportunity to enter into higher education sector. That's also a big problem facing by India. And that India is holding a very low profile in global hunger index also. And these are the definitely challenges to be overcome to make maximum use of the human resources in India. And also we have the natural resources. It is very rich. In India is very have rivers, mountain, and this type of natural resources also. But these natural resources is holding, and that is with corporates. That's also a problem facing by India, and and also peasants and agriculture workers also facing lots of issue that peasants suicide is increasing day by day. These are the main problems facing by India, and also this is the time to the people of India stick on the or strengthen the time to strengthen the communal harmony of India, and it is the time to strengthen our freedom to speech, freedom to express, and we need to protect our habits of food habits and our other rights to speak, to educate, to read and to write. I am concluding. Thank you to everybody and warm greetings.
Our final delegate is Anupam Kumar from the CYSS, the students' wing of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Namaste. Thank you, everyone. It's very difficult to understand development and growth of India within the 3 minutes. So I'm trying to do my best. When we talk about India in terms of growth or in terms of economy, we all know that India is a developing country. But the other side, in terms of GDP, India have a 2.45 trillion, and we are 6th in position in terms of GDP. In terms of PPP, we rank 3rd. And current growth rate of India is the last financial year. I'm talking about the last financial year, 7.2, and estimated is 7.1. But the problem is, to become developed country, India GDP will have to grow at the rate of 12% per annum, at least a decade. But this can be achieved. This can be a practical. But for this purpose, we have to invest more. We have two kinds of assets: physical assets and the human capital. Physical capital and human capital. And personally, we believe that if you transform your generation within one generation, you have to invest more in a human capital. Right now, India is investing only 2.8% of GDP in education, and it's required 6% of GDP. We have to transfer our infrastructure. We have to invest $1.5 billion in infrastructure to make the world class. India also facing some different kinds of problem, like a colonialism and the corruption. We have to deal with very strongly with the colonialism and the corruption. Since the world economy's development and the change, economic development through the capital driven and through the knowledge driven, the fourth application, for the knowledge driven, we have to need more resources in terms of FDI, or need to invest more in IT, information technology sector. So become a development country, India need to more focus on the FDI and we have to make a strong relationship with the developed country to make more every year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, delegates. All your ideas were very thought-provoking indeed. May I now invite Sanam to start the question and answer session?
Can I please have a round of applause for our amazing Are we all okay for time? Can we go into a good Q&A? Prep up, guys, come on.
Yes.
Right, okay. So, do you want me to summarize the key points made by everybody, or do you all have buzzing questions that we can just get on with? What would you like to do? We can get on with the questions. We can get on with the questions. Perfect. May I also add the delegates can also throw back questions to everybody. So who wants to start? Right, sir.
Before I come to the question, just to let you know, I'm an immigration lawyer here and dealing in immigration inwards towards UK. But I would remind everybody in the house, we talk about Oxford University, we talk about Cambridge University, but the first university was Nalanda University when people used to go to India. British went to India for business. Now we are coming towards London for business. The immigration, whether it was Arabians, Asians, Western countries, French, Spanish, everybody, Portuguese, they all were having their bases in India. But now the immigration has gone opposite side. The reason we have been celebrating 70 years. Any country is ruled according to their laws. The laws which Britishers made for us, Indian Evidence Act, Indian Penal Code, Police Act, they all are 1860, 61, 63. And those laws were made to rule the Indians. 1947, British came, the laws remained as such. My question to the whole panel is, was it, I asked this question to the niece of Bhagat Singh, she lives here, and she gave me a very nice answer. I'm putting a question to you. 1947, was it a transformation of a power, or was it a real independence?
Right, who would like to take that?
Thank you very much. Hello. It's important to see 70 years of independence, but we have gained. You know, what you see 70 years back, 5,000 villages were electrified. Now only 18,000 are left. But you see India 70 years ago, now it's not the India. I'm inviting you all guys to come back, and what you are doing here, do here. UK is inviting us here, not because we are the leading student politician of our country, because UK sees potential in our country. We will be by 2040 or 50 the largest economy of the world. We will have the largest skilled labor. Your question, I think history for us is something we should learn. And it's why I said that the young politician, I think it's we people who should make laws, rules in the parliament. And we should decide, like you were asking question, but if you will be there in India, fighting parliament election, and then making laws in the parliament, it will make a seriously different thing. That's why I joined the politics, to see it from outside and then be inside and change the things. And it was actually a country, it's a very difficult democratic country, seriously difficult democratic country, not like UK or other country of the world. Every religion, regions are so different, communities are so different, and still we are able to run the democracy, and we are proud of that, and we are proud of our history. Freedom is something everybody desires, and still we are able to compete with the other counterparts of the country. I think that's important. So we got our country, and we make our constitution by ourselves. It's not about the rules. The principle of natural justice always
follow, evidence sector, all, it is always the same. But we can change, and I think it should be changed by the people, and laws are all for the people. So important is that how these young people, my colleagues, in the coming times deal with that. Thank you.
I think, excuse me, I think that's a very,
I think it was
we can hear you. The point is that I think this is a very valid question to ask as to whether the laws which were being framed in 1860s or 1760s should exist in the present times or not. So when this present government came, almost 1800 laws, I think 1800 or some 3600 laws have been scrapped from the law books. Sunset clauses have been now introduced in certain laws so that these situations could be handled in a more proper manner. As far as the question of transfer of power in 1947 is concerned, the point is that the power may have transferred, but for almost 100 years the penal code was existing, but almost a system existed in India from 1760s, 1780s, or 1800. So our society has adopted it, and you were part of a global order wherein you have to be more engaged. And that engagement was, there are two systems, common law system or the continental system. So you have to adopt. If some good practices existed in that system, it could be incorporated. If however, in case of all these laws, there have been provisions like there was a provision in IPC which was a sanctuary, which was that people will be sent to some particular area. That those provisions have been removed from the punishment system. So because that was a very much a colonial system wherein people have to be put somewhere. So I think it can't be a yes or no answer just that because three laws exist, so you say that the power is not just a power transferred and no real freedom has been found.
If I may ask a question then to the panel, following on from the gentleman's question. Section 377, does everyone know about that? Yeah. So in the UK, as in India, diversity and inclusion are fundamental values, right? LGBTQ rights are human rights. What's the panel's take, what's the delegation's take on why Section 377 in particular still exists? And what should we be doing about that going forward from a LGBTQ rights point of view?
I think we was just talking about transforming India and social reforms. So I wanted to add, there was very little time given to us. Social reforms, the basic hindrance that comes in the way of social reforms is a conservative society. Because reforms come when two societies diffuse with each other, the ideas intermix with each other. Ours is a very young country, just 70 years into independence. Slowly we are reaching out, as I told, the awareness is going out. And it's not that we are not open to LGBT community. Our Punjab University just installed separate washrooms for the LGBT community.
That's amazing. Round of applause.
So there are steps being taken in some areas of our country, and slowly I think in the coming years we will see the change that you intend to see.
Just a doubt. The washrooms which you're talking about that were added in Punjab University, why would you need a third washroom for LGBTQ? I think it would be specifically transgender. Just a clarification.
Yes, specifically for transgenders, and the way we use MS, MR, they have been given the prefix MX in Chandigarh especially. So that is something they demanded for their own identity purposes, I guess, and that has been granted. So slowly there is advancement in that field as well.
So are we saying this is on the basis of what they have demanded that Punjab University have responded?
I think to strengthen their identity in the society.
We must commend that. That is an interesting thing we did not know about.
In India also, the court has said that the transgenders will be given more opportunities. So in case of Kerala, where we have recently seen that the transgenders specific facilities have been made, and even some job reservation probably has been given to transgender. So India is evolving as such, but to say that the 377 exists, that's why it's correct to not have 377 is not appropriate. Let's have a debate, and it can be a nuanced debate, and after deliberation we can reach to a point that whether it should exist or it should not exist.
Yeah, I mean, one of our patrons is Dr. Shashi Tharoor, of course from the Congress Party. Although, like I said many times, we are completely apolitical. Dr. Tharoor is a strong advocate of diversity and inclusion. In fact, I think he has tabled this motion many a time in Parliament, if I'm not wrong. So I guess the question to the delegates is, what is stopping us from talking about it in Parliament? Because I haven't seen a debate in Parliament on this issue that would actually lead to a sufficient output. Now that may be my ignorance, but I'd like the politicians to respond to that, please.
There is a debate which is...
I guess I may not be properly informed, but I guess the case is pending or was with the Supreme Court already.
In Delhi High Court has decided in Arts Foundation that 377 is now unconstitutional. However, the case has gone to Supreme Court now. But as far as the debate has happened in 2012 when this case was decided, so wherein parties across party line, they have said that there should be a debate. And as part of RSS, we have said, we have taken a clear position that this clause needs to be reviewed, and there should be a more deliberation which should take place. Even in case of UK, US, when this gay marriages were being passed, it was passed through a court order, not via legislation, and that too was a very divided court. So 4-3 at 5-4 something was like that was existing. So I don't think that having 377 itself is non-progressive.
Sure. Questions?
Firstly, I'd like to tell that there is some vibrant ideas from all of you, so well done for all of that. So one of the most recurring themes throughout the speech today was the young population of India. But I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, that the minimum age to contest in an election, in an assembly election, is 25 years, when we have a very, very high number of youth population. Whereas in UK, I'm aware that it's 18 years. So I'd like, as young politicians, do you think it is important for us to not just have representation, but also positions of power, and reduce this minimum age for us to contest? I would like to have your views on that.
Sure, in our organization also we are fighting for that. In our party also we are fighting for that. In 18 years is the getting voting right. 21 year is the eligibility for contesting for local body election, and 25 is for legislative assembly.
So am I then right in saying that some of this delegation can't vote in India?
No, we can vote.
But they can't contest in your election, despite being
contest. So we are fighting that. We are fighting for that.
So I think we really need to get more young people into position.
I believe, ma'am, it's good. In our recently National Executive, we have thought on this process. But, politics is a complex system too in the Indian politics. 18, he is able to vote. Let him come in the political scenario. Let him learn. I'm 28, still not able in the electoral politics, but I'm in the national politics. I seriously run the national scenario. We actually, do the fight for the students on the bigger scale. But, representing your community and showing a diverse thing is, I think, the age there comes, but I believe strictly that the age should come up to 18, and we'll start soon fighting for this. And the voting age should also come down to 16, because I became the college president at the age of 16 and I was in college first year. So I think these two things in the coming months you will see that NSU will be fighting for. Thank you.
I was 20 when I first became my university president, and I was the youngest. Now I'm 23, and I think in the last 3 years I've learned a lot. And if now I become the university president again, I would do things a little more differently, in a little more mature way, and in a very open way. So on one hand, when the age limit doesn't let the young people fight election, it also gives them more experience, more maturity maybe comes, and that is also helpful to some extent, if you see the other side of the story.
May I say something on this? Yes, sir. I am the youngest in the delegation. I am 20 years old. And I have been into active student politics since I was in standard 10. So I don't believe that youngsters are not taking political stands. I think we are learning. I have recently, 10 days back, I have been elected as the university president of India, just 10 days back. We are learning. We are in learning process right now. So I think India needs mature politicians, mature leaders, and we are all from different political parties. So we are learning from different perspectives, and definitely one day we contest elections and have a good view.
This is actually a relevant issue, because if the 35 is the age when you can contest for, because 25 is the age for MLA, 35 is the age for MP. 30 is the age of MP in Lok Sabha, 35 is the age of MP for Madhya. The problem is that as a decision maker, the average age of the cabinet in state as well as the central government is pretty high, and at times they fail to, because 25 years ago what were the issues? If suppose at age of 45 somebody becomes a first time minister, he can't understand what are the issues which student of the age of 28 or 18 faces. So I believe that the age should be brought in, but even if the age is 25, the people become minister only age at 45.
Yeah, that is again with
Just because you are an MLA, that doesn't mean that you.
Yeah, it's a different perspective of whether age and experience come together or they work hand in hand. It's that debate we need to work. So what we're really saying is the panel is divided.
I'd just like to add another point.
Sure. 30 seconds.
Do you think power should be divided accordingly, like in the student committee and then the elected committees, like the 25 years? Do you think the power should be divided as well?
Like she's elected president of, like myself the elected president of the student union.
The college president, university president, she is the president. I think all are the college and university presidents. 1 lakh, I think 2 lakh students in Delhi University. Karishma? I don't know. She was also 2 lakh students, and you are going to Delhi University student election. It's big, beautiful, and I think in some countries it's like the MP elections, member of parliament, bigger than that. So in Punjab University, in Rajasthan University, Guwahati University, Banaras University, Kashi Vidyapeeth, Guwahati University, Vadodara University, Indore University. Student election, I think, is a machinery for creating the future electoral politicians. Actually, I think 90% of we people are from the universities, student election, and they are fought in a different way. They are fought on the ideas, they are the manifesto, and I believe all should be a whole of India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, even from Gujarat to Bengal, Northeast. There should be student election, and there will be good, creative, potential leaders for the future country. You fight little election, then you go into the politics and fight big elections, and that will help us. But in some states, government is suppressing, not allowing. I don't know why. Chhattisgarh, they banned the election, and
My question is that the elected student leaders, like the ones sitting here, should you be given more power to bring reforms and like?
Who is stopping them? Who is stopping us?
Think so, like once you
No, you believe. Right. One thing, students are always anti-establishment first. They never with the government. So who is stopping me to actually fight for the students or to go for the reforms? I thought my decision. No, my thinking is that 18 you have a voting right. So you should be given the right to fight the election. That's mine. But my committee doesn't agree on that. So I thought in the next meeting, National Executive meeting, we would again go for this, so that we to pass a resolution and have a whole India, pan-India, we should actually fight in that. No one is stopping that. In India, there are big movements, like Rohit Vimla movement. It was a book. Nationalism debate is going on at large scale. My friend from RSS, ABVP are on one front, and we, the NSUI, are on the other space. So whenever the government is trying to suppress us, or stop our voice, we both come, ABVP and NSU and all the political, even the left, came on the same platform, and we start fighting with the government, and you can't penetrate, you can't infiltrate, you can't actually suppress our voice in the colleges and in the universities. What you think of India is different than actually, you knew Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Punjab, or 3-4 cities, but that's not India. There is something different in India.
Question to you to that you said that nobody is stopping you
So I didn't want to wait till 25 to be the end.
Wait. So if nobody is stopping you, so as majority of you mentioned a lot of troubles, a lot of complaints about how India is not progressing, about the problems that India is having. So what are you guys doing as nobody is stopping you? So can I like...
Ma'am, actually, you know,
I just want to add and continue from that. Actually, we did not have a problem. We are not negative that India is not progressing. India is progressing. In fact, yesterday, a council member from the UK, we met him and he told us that what he's going to deliver a lecture is on what we can learn from 70 years of Indian independence. What we just highlighted here was some issues that we were working on that are already being worked on.
No,
I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Hardik.
And a few of you gave some amazing solutions, but
Have you been to India?
I am from India.
Do you know really India?
I am brought up. I was brought
Thank
up
you very
in
much.
India.
No, what I'm saying that when I was the college president at the age of 16 and I thought that I want to be a politician, I saw India from a different side. Then when I became the national secretary 5 years back, 6 years back, I saw India from a different perspective. Then after being to whole of India, whole of India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Bengal and Northeast, now I know that I still doesn't know India and I don't have any perspective. You are talking of the student and the population of only the cities, if I'm maybe wrong. But there is an India who live in the villages. There is an India who depend on the agriculture. There is an India who is actually self-sufficient. There is an India who actually lives on the forest, like my friend, Tanuj is from the tribal community. And it's you and we deciding that they are not cultured. When I found in the African studies SOS that they are savage and something like that. But for them, that's the real life. For me, I am from Kashmir and a village. I now, after doing the national politics for 5 years, being the national president, and here coming to UK, I want to live in my village because I want to have fresh air. I want to do agriculture and teach students. So the perspective, ma'am, when you actually visit whole of India, it's not only what you see on the television or in the social media. Our country is so big, and I think we have more challenges. And as a young politicians, we have big to learn and we have big to fight.
I will
give an answer.
I will go by what Abhijit said and say let's respect the diversity of diversity here.
Just a minute. To answer this question specifically, what we are doing as said. So answering that particular question in regard to my organization, I would like to say that we don't consider the student politics as just limited to student union elections. Like as an organization, we have large number of dimensions. So one of the dimensions like works SFD, Student for Development, which works in environmental area. So around Shipra River in the Madhya Pradesh, we have been planting trees. Then we are having drives in Rajasthan, similar kind of drives. We are also having missions in Gangotri and several other places. So we have another wing which works on the agri-vision, which works on the agriculture issues, and there are Ayurveda visions. So we are having several verticals. What you usually say in a policy group, that there are verticals. So we are engaging right now. Like when this Kailash Satyarthiji's 1 billion march was going on, so we were involved in that program, and we were the partners in several states when this rally was going on. So we are working on child labor also. So we are having, so as an organization, I can completely agree that the student politics should not remain to university. It should go out to larger part. And at some times we should think like youth. So youth has two parts. Youth as student, then youth as professional, then youth as common citizen of the particular land also. And if we engage all those kind of people, only then as an organization, as we can bring real change in the society.
Can I
Just a second, please. Just 30 seconds, because this is very important. Most of all here are NRIs, and let me tell you, you are the now required Indians. And as I've seen, but till now I've seen there's still some trances of the imperialism or the colonialism left. Some places left, and I don't know why in the West. An image of India is planted. We just had a visit to SOS, and there was an exhibition there. And the topic was behind the Indian boom. And what was being shown was a part of Jharkhand and the Maoist movement. See, Jharkhand is one of the 28, 29 states, including Delhi, you said. So it's a very small part of our diverse country. In the coming, by 2030, by 2040, we are going to be one of the biggest economies. We will have the largest, youngest workforce in the world, and that will be skilled. So, but that does put a lot of tremendous pressure on our already existing resources. We have a large population. What we have been doing in the last 70 years is terrific. We had Pakistan with us, that got independence with us, but we have reached somewhere. That is why we are going to be the biggest economy. And my question to you all is, what are you all going to do? What will be your contribution in this, in helping India utilize this resources better? There was the first industrial revolution, there was the second industrial revolution, then came computer, and then now is coming digitization, and India is going to be the pioneer. I didn't stop anyone.
Okay, so we have a wonderful cross-party delegation here. Hardik just asked us, what are we going to do? Yes. Right? So let's do something.
Yeah.
Can we join hands with, and Feroz mentioned earlier that at times all the political wings, student wings come together and ask for the same thing. All of you in some shape or form spoke about the lack of investment in education. I think Anupam gave some statistics. So the fact that currently we are only investing 2.8% of our GDP in education, we should be investing 6%. Collectively, can I pose this question to everyone here, but particularly the cross-party delegation? Nisau will work with you to help get best practice from, and best practice goes both ways. It goes from UK to India, but it goes from India to UK as well. From an education point of view, we will work with the cross-party delegations, the heads of the various state and national student wings, to help you and to collectively work together so that the now required Indians can actually actively participate in India's education investment. Will you guys stand up to your end of the bargain and work with us?
Yeah. That's a promise.
So let's take this as an outcome. Lady at the back.
To add to your question, so I was thinking...
Can we pass the mic?
So I have a question related to education and empowering students, empowering that part of the population which do not have access to free education. So at the moment we have a law which guarantees free education as a fundamental right for, I think, ages 6 to 14. So what do you think about increasing that age to at least finish schooling for the students so that they can join universities and get a platform where they can actually do something? Because the minimum age for a lot of the jobs is at least completing higher education, higher secondary. So what do you think about that being one of the points that you work with the government?
Do you want to direct your question to anyone in particular?
What anybody thinks about it. I think that that's something that we should give all citizens of India a fundamental right to education to complete schooling, which is provided by other countries.
Answer from lady delegates. They haven't spoken much.
I think more than a question, it's a suggestion, and probably
yes.
You should invite suggestions for people, for them to understand what kind of suggestions people here who have gone to different schools, have different exposures, can actually kind of give suggestions to these political delegations, and then they can go back, reflect on it, and probably propose it to the government.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
On I'm deciding on this number. So you all have my email ID. I will give you. So whatever suggestion you have, because of shortage of time, we won't be able to take up each and every suggestion. Just mail to us. We will collect them and then we will provide to the FCO to get it across to the cross-party delegation.
I would like to inform also, it was a great suggestion and we welcome the suggestions. That is, we have seen in India there are students, there are kids who do not get primary education as well. So when Congress was there in the government, midday meals were provided to attract the students who are below poverty line or children, so that that meal, that one lunch attracted them to the schools और उसकी वजह से उनको वहाँ पे पढ़ने का मौका मिला. जो teachers थे, midday meal proved to be very successful. The other thing which happened was like NSUI के थ्रू हम लोगों ने काफ़ी ऐसे कैंपेन्स किए जहाँ पे हम लोग स्लम्स में गए और काफ़ी ऐसी जगह गए जहाँ पे एजुकेशन का महत्व क्या है या शिक्षा का महत्व क्या है, वो बताना ज़रूरी था, क्योंकि आजकल हम लोग देख रहे हैं जो सरकारी स्कूल हैं वहाँ की भी हिंदुस्तान में स्थितियाँ ऐसी है कि ना टीचर को पढ़ाना आता है तो छात्रों को पढ़ना तो आएगा नहीं. सो वी फील दैट देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स विच वी नीड टू डू, लाइक मिड डे मील एक चीज़ हो गई. प्राइमरी एजुकेशन फ्री करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इंडिया इतना डेवलप तो हो ही चुका है कि प्राइमरी एजुकेशन शुड बी फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. एंड ऑलरेडी है, बट देयर आर सर्टेन प्लेसेस इट इज़ नॉट एग्जीक्यूटेड और इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हुई है जो स्कीम्स और चीज़ें हैं. और जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर है वो अपनी फी बढ़ाता ही जा रहा है, तो अमीर और अमीर हो रहा है, गरीब और गरीब हो रहा है. सो वी थिंक दैट वी विल बी वर्किंग ऑन दैट एंड दैट्स ऑल. थैंक यू.
Only one thing, I am belong to Kerala. So actually, that's the question raised by that lady that about giving free education to all. So in Kerala, that free education is giving to until higher secondary, as till +2, that giving free education and free food, free midday meal and free textbook and uniform also.
Yes,
This type of.
Yeah, I know Kerala does it. I think some other states like Punjab has also said that they will do that. But we need like
Some
something
states,
at the national level
some
where
states,
you come and
yeah,
raise that.
we already raised that thing because of our works in Kerala,
Yes,
that this
sure,
happens. Because of SFI, this happens in Kerala. So we are working in all other states also, and other organizations also working. They are also demanding these things.
Can I answer Hardik's question?
We'll come to you, Arjun. Aman, you have a question?
Yes. Just a minute. As he said that the budgetary allocation about the education. I'm talking about the Aam Aadmi Party, which is Delhi-based ruling party. Aam Aadmi Party education पे 24% अपने बजट का 24% हिस्सा एजुकेशन पे लगाती है. And out of 29 states, Delhi is the only government who do such things. The first, one fourth of their budget investing in education.
I think that is a remarkable feat. We must congratulate the Aam Aadmi Party.
The only budget education is not sufficient. The basic infrastructure. वहाँ के स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल आप कैम्ब्रिज आते हैं, आप एक्सपोर्ट आते हैं, अमेरिका जाते हैं और वहाँ से नॉलेज एक्सचेंज करते हैं, फिनलैंड जाते हैं. We need to invest more on education.
एक एजुकेशन में मेरा एक पॉइंट है कि एक होता है, जैसे हमारे संगठन में कहते हैं कि होता है कार्यक्रम और एक होता है क्रियाक्रम. So the point is that rather than having the strict mark of thing that you are providing education, you are providing this and you are providing that, that's very much an instrumental part of the process. As far as the national government is concerned, the other side is that quality of education and in the manner in which you provide education, to diversity of ideas which you open, which a student has the opportunity to engage with. That the government, present government as such is Ministry of MHRD has started a project wherein the digital technology will be used in schools across India, so that and courses will be designed wherein people can have access to such kind of things. So there is also like open access kind of thing is also being, government is investing in that particular idea. So person is studying in National Law School, a person is studying in some IIT, if some lecture is being telecasted, it will be also recorded. And also VSAT technology is being used, wherein people sitting in Bastar or other parts of India can have access to those kind of resources. So use of information technology to make better quality education and better harmonization of the standards of education. So rather than just having the quantity of education, we should go for a monumental shift towards the next stage.
We'll take one last question. We are significantly out of time.
Well, good evening. First of all, can I say it's great to listen to such a diverse cross-section of future political leaders of India. My name is Amandeep Singh Bogle, and like many of you, I got involved in politics here in the UK at a very young age and had the opportunity to stand as a Conservative for Parliament as a 30-year-old in the 2015 election. But I've heard a lot of you speak tonight about the need for better education for young people in India, and a need for better university education, better higher education. And of course, education is the best route to prosperity. And it was even better to hear that we need a smaller state and a bigger society to let people get on with their own lives. But what I haven't heard from any of you tonight is something that we have really championed here in the UK as Conservatives, which is apprenticeships, which is the need for vocational training. Not everyone, of course, wants to go to university, and of course not everyone has the scope and ability to perhaps afford a university education, certainly in a private sector within India. What views does the panel have of the potential for vocational training and apprenticeships?
So on the apprenticeship also, the government of India has recently brought an amendment. So the age-old colonial law regarding the apprenticeship has been changed, and government has evolved new strategy, and a new policy is being brought in that direction, wherein the student should be provided more opportunity. And as far as Skill India is, the project of Skill India is also having that element wherein apprenticeship opportunities will be provided to the students, so that because service market is a big service market is awaiting India. After automation, there is not much jobs which will be created. So when Make in India was pitched, almost it was said that $1 lakh will be some $12 billion will be invested, but it will create only 12 lakh jobs, less than 12 lakh jobs. So less than 1 lakh jobs. Sorry for getting confused about some of the tasks. But the point is that you need to go for newer industries, and therein this apprenticeship will work, and government is seriously considering this aspect. But India as such is still not conducive. The business environment is still not conducive enough to avail such kind of opportunities.
I'm really sorry, we have run out of time. But we will collect the questions. You have Monish's email ID, or just inbox us your questions. We will be submitting them to the panel if they would like to come back. And any suggestions you may have, we will be submitting back. In terms of order of business, we do have some important things to announce today on our 5th anniversary. I must tell the panel this is our 5th anniversary. First of all, may I please invite Dr. Rami Renja. He is one of our patrons, a very special individual in the UK-India relationship. I'd like him to please make a short address on what he thinks of our journey in this short space of 5 years of time. Dr. Renja, please.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I must say I'm really impressed with the delegation and the students who are here, because that means you are passionate about India. You're passionate about the development of India. And I'm going to just share 5 minutes I've been given in that journey of India. What is the journey of India, or the idea of India? The idea of India is Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Yes, we are an outward looking country. The world is our oyster. We are a secular democratic country. We respect merit. As a result, wherever Indians go, they get on with people. Because we are not a religious country where religion has been forced into our brain, and we have been made to hate the rest of the mankind who don't subscribe to our way of thinking. So that is the tribute to the founder of India who gave us that constitution. And today we are enjoying the benefit of those constitutions. Now many of you said, go back home, come back, you are doing something here. If India is to become a global power, it needs its influence. And the NRI are their influences. We are a very big influence in the mind of the British, American, Canadian, wherever we are, in the mind of those politicians, the decision makers. I can go on, there's so many things we have done in this country. For example, when India exploded nuclear device in Pokhran, there was talk of sanctions against India, where we fought with the government. We said, you are hypocrite. When France explodes nuclear device on the doorstep of New Zealand in Mororo Atoll, you say nothing. So we lobby the politician. Now you're a sovereign country, having one side a communist country as neighbor, the other side a religious fanatic country on the other side, and you telling India how it should protect itself from these two axes of wrong things, because they are, as you know, till today people don't respect China, human rights. So we have to protect India. So anyway, so we, by being here, are a positive force, positive effect on the people of this country. We create a lot of understanding. Look at the way we have made curry #1 dish in this country. The amount of religious tourism going to India, flying, Air India going so many times to India, coming backward, the revenue. The NRI are remitting nearly 70 billion pounds a year from Middle East to this and that. So the biggest commodity India has is this manpower, youth. So we have a surplus manpower. We can afford to send some people, and they go abroad. They will send money back home, and they will improve the lives of their relatives also. So don't go back, stay. Because if you're patriotic, go away and give your job and house and car and other thing to some other Indian. So let's not be something. Number 2, they say, if you don't want to see heaven, you have to die. There's no other person can come and tell you. And if you want to change India, it is in the hand of young people like you. You have to change India. No supernatural power is going to come to change India. It is the people of India who will change India. Unfortunately, we have a lot of corruption in India. We are a very rich country. We are very intelligent. Look at me, the most decorated businessman in this country with 8 Queens Award. No Englishman can speak about that many things. But the system in India is such that the people cannot experience the real potential. The system in the other country works. We can come. And I can give you an example. Heathrow Airport, people are standing in the queue. The minute they arrive in Delhi, they're fighting. There's no queue. The system changes. So we have to create that system. So you people are the future of India. And my advice to you is, #1, first secure yourself before you're thinking of securing India or anybody else. If you are not secure, you are no good to anybody. You can't secure anyone. Today, I'm very proud to say I've created hundreds of Indian jobs in this country. Yes? So first and foremost, you don't even think of going into politics till you are financially secure. Life begins at 40. Till 40, you make your life, build your business empire, whatever. When you have, then you go into business. If you are lucky to have rich parents, you are entitled to go to politics because you are being secure by your parents. Parents are going to leave something for you, they can't take it with you. So it's there, you're there. Parents have made enough sacrifices for you, so you can then make sacrifices for India. So that's very important. Always secure yourself, because tomorrow a dead hero is no hero. Hero is a hero. Sometimes we respect the people who have died bravely. Today I've just come back from Parliament where we honored these 21 Sikhs, Saragari Petrol, who took the last stand. Yes? But a hero is hero who dies defending the right causes, right values. So therefore, I would encourage you to secure yourself first and then something. And the other thing is, when you become in a position, there is a word, you are judged by the company you keep. Yes, you agree with me? So India must have a habit of collaborating with people of first world country. If you want to have Indian should allow people, foreign companies to come into India, to collaborate with Indian, so we can jump to the first level straight away. I came to England and I learned a great deal from the English people. Yes? So there is a possibility, if you do business with a Korean or from Americans or Germans or French, you will get the technology transfer very quickly and you will learn a great deal. So therefore, I will encourage the politician of India that it's all about collaboration, cooperation in this world. I am in 130 countries simply through collaboration and cooperation with the local commanders, people who are in their country, they know their system well. So therefore, it's very important that you build relationship with foreign countries, people who are by standing in short grass will look tall. It's better you stand in the tall grass and tall grass and then look tall. Yes? So, I can go on, but I won't go on now, and because I got 5 minutes, but on the final thing, I will give you 5 things, this 5 principles which made me. My father was assassinated in 1947. I'm giving you my age also now. Because he was against the partition of India, and he tried his best. He has a statue in Amritsar, his picture is golden. He tried to save some student who got like you, were very enthusiastic. They took a procession against the division of India, and they got caught in communal riot. He went to save them, students were saved, he was assassinated. So we lost our ancestral home, country and breadwinner. I came to England. We started my journey from a refugee camp in Patiala. Well, I had a remarkable mother. She was a teacher. She instilled the right values. And this value system is very important in this world, life. It's all about values. UK is a very small country. They have ruled the world because of the value system. They are not great because they have fish and chip diet. It is the value system. The value system, which I will tell you in 3 minutes or 1 minute now, because you are person of values. Yes. So your values will give you the standing in the world. Let's give you example. For example, a respect for women, respect for religion, tolerance, rule of law. These are values. That we are Indian, we have a rule of law, we are equal, everybody is equal. Yes, we don't suppress people, we don't oppress. So everybody, these are the values which makes India great. That's why people are now queuing to do business with India, because they know India shares their values. So we must have those values, which the world respect, human rights, like that. And finally, so as a man who had no father, no elite education, no family wealth, no school network, started his business with just £2 in a shed. And today is in 130 countries, and that is the reason of these 5 fingers. You all are born with these 5 qualities, and please try to use them, because I'm sharing with you. Number 1 is self-respect. Those who do not have self-respect, like some of the Indian politicians, look how much damage they do to themselves, to their country, and to the next generation. So self-respect is very important. Without self-respect, you will cut corner, you will let people down, you will let your employer down, you will let your parents down, you will let everybody down. I have no respect. Besti karne ka lo, kya farak padta? Yes? So self-respect is number 1. Agree? Yes. Number 2 is ethics. You must have ethics. When you work for somebody, work ethics, that you give them their pound of flesh. They pay you, so you have your ethic, whether you're supplier, customer, your staff, whoever you work, you deal with them ethically. Which is very easy, free. I'm giving you free thing. And the third is a commitment. No matter how clever you are, if you don't show commitment to your work, forget it. Casual effort, casual result. So you have to show total commitment to whatever you do. Mediocrity will get you by, but it will not get you noticed. You will not shine. So be the best among the rest by showing your commitment more than the guy next door. Yes? So you got that? And this one is vision. You have to have vision. Without vision, we are headless chicken. We have no idea where we're going. Yes? So you have to have vision. Every day you have to know where is my destiny, where I need to go. Yes? And how will I get there? And sometimes you sit down in the evening, if you drink whatever drink you drink, but do communicate with yourself. You will be amazed to find what a wonderful person you are. We never communicate with ourselves, we never talk. And finally, is empathy for others. You must empathize with other people. You never, you put yourself in their position, and whether you're staff, you are junior, you're senior. For example, in the case of junior, you need to train them, because they're not typewriters. You don't just give them instruction. You give them rationale behind your instruction. Business is a game of people. Money does not make money, people make money. I was penniless when I came here. Yes, my book is from nothing to everything, because I had nothing. The money was made by a human being. So have empathy for the boss. Don't be his opposition leader. That boss has got 26 balls in the air, which you can't see, he can. He's already stressed out. You don't induce more pressure by being smart guy. Oh no, this can't be done, this is this, this is this. So be reasonable and have empathy. Empathy for your parents who are spending a great deal of money. Yes, empathy for your supplier, pay him on time. All these things, just 5 things, which is nothing. We all have them, but we never use them. So please use them. Make India proud. We're a great country with the most ancient civilization in the world. The only thing is, we were too nice to people. We did not know Ram har jan mein paida hua, Lakshman hua. We consider everybody as Lakshman, and some people came as Ram. So therefore, you must remember that you are going to make India the India we dream, India our forefather dream. For India, those people are like Bhagat Singh. They hanged themselves, they sacrificed, they died. Yes, that is India for you, and I hope you will make yourself proud, your family and your country and community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ranger, for those extremely inspirational words. We have a few more orders of business. I promise we'll get through them quickly. There is some food, snacks waiting outside. I know everyone's starving. My stomach's making noises. So, today we are, like I said, celebrating 5 years of this incredibly special journey. On the occasion of our 5th anniversary, we are launching 2 special initiatives. One of them is the appointment of our newest patron. So, may I please welcome Mr. Ramesh Arora to the podium, please. Mr. Arora is our newest patron. We are extremely delighted to have him. For those of you who don't know Mr. Arora, he is one of the most successful hotel chain owners in the UK. He owns many luxury, he's the managing director and vice president marketing for many luxury hotels in the UK, including the one we are privileged enough to be sat in today. If we were to pay pounds, our charity would go bankrupt very quickly. So it is due to his exceptional commitment to the Indian student and alumni community that we seek his patronage. I must also tell you that as India's brand ambassadors, one of the areas the Nisau is strategically focused on is on tourism. We firmly believe that India could run its economy simply on tourism because we have so much fantastic natural resources in the country. We have every climate, we have just about every demography, we have so much richness of culture. Under Mr. Arora, who is, just last week Mr. Arora organized an awesome Assam Incredible India Tourist event, as well as an Uttarakhand event, as well as a Bihar event that he was a part of. So it's absolutely incredible for us to be able to be associated with someone who is a stalwart of the tourism industry and welcome as our patron. I invite Mohnish, our president, to please award him the certificate of patronage.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm not an owner. I'm not an owner of anything. I'm a pure soul. I'd like to welcome you all. Right? I just would like to give you one message. If you want to discover India, come to them. You have heard from Dr. Rami Ranger just now. He's a brilliant person. He's a self-made man. Like him, we have got plenty of other gentlemen as well who have literally made India in London itself. If you want to look Swachh Bharat, come here. If you're looking for law-abiding India, come here. We'll show you India. About yourself, what you are doing, congratulations to you. You're doing a fantastic job. Only my message to you will be, India today is 123th country in the world for happiness index. We are 135 cities like Delhi, Bombay, Madras, Calcutta, 135 number on most stressed cities in the world. Being the most spiritual country in the world, what is the reason? This is the question you should ask yourself. Everybody is working very hard towards politics, towards the nation, but not for the happiness. Why we are so unhappy people in India when we are the most spiritual country? You give some thoughts and see what we can do in bringing the happiness movement as well. We are here to support you together with Mr. Rami Ranger as well as Mr. Chopra and all our friends over here and I sitting over here. Thank you very much.
Finally, and I promise just 2 more to go. So, 5th anniversary, a new network. We are now formally launching a network called Friends of Nisau. This is a network of stakeholders, senior stakeholders in the UK-India relationship, people in the field of education, people across different sectors who can really help us achieve our vision to delivering better for both our local communities in the UK and in India, but also to the bilateral partnership between the 2 countries. And for that, we are proud that a number of people have already accepted our invites to become Friends of Nisau. They include members of parliament in the UK, they include members of parliament in India, they include very many senior stakeholders, including the Air India director for the UK, Mrs. Tara Naidu, who is today represented by Ms. Paula Chattaraj. So I'd like to welcome Mrs. Chattaraj to the stage to please accept on behalf of Mrs. Naidu, the Chief of Air India in the UK, the appointment of a Friend of Nisau. Gayatri, if you may present, please.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, Mrs. Naidu couldn't come today. She was busy in some very important meetings, but very proud to be a part of, be a friend, and wish you all the best. Very interesting talk. Wish you all the best, and the lovely words of Prime Minister and should be inspiring you to take you to a higher level. All the best to you.
Thank you. Other Friends of Nisau who sadly couldn't be here today include Dame Asha Khemka, who I may emphasize, as Aman brought up the point of skills development and vocational education. Dame Asha Khemka is one of the most senior people in the UK-India educational relationship. She has single-handedly, I would say, revolutionized skills-based vocational education in the UK. And as a woman of Bihari origin who came to the UK not speaking a word of English, to have transformed vocational education in the UK to the level where she now heads thousands and thousands of students, white students, students from BAME communities, Indian students across the board, how skills development really happens. We're extremely honored that Dame Khemka has also accepted our invite. Friends of Nisau also include the Right Honourable Member of Parliament, Preet Gill, from Birmingham at Paston. Unfortunately, both her and our patron, Mr. Virendra Sharma, the Right Honourable Virendra Sharma, who is also a Member of Parliament, are stuck in Parliament right now in a vote till about 11 o'clock tonight, so they couldn't leave. We also have people like, I mentioned Mrs. Naidu, also Lord Meghnad Desai. How many of you have heard of Lord Meghnad Desai? Lord Meghnad Desai, one of the most senior figures in the UK-India relationship, as well as a political commentator, an educationalist. He also owns a specific school of economics in India, which was launched a few years ago. He's also accepted our invite to become a Friend of Nisau. So there will be many more names released who will be continuing to help us grow towards our vision and hopefully to work with the likes of all the state and national presidents and secretaries from India of the student wings. Finally, I would like to also tell you, how many of you have heard of the National Union of Students in the UK? NUS, guys? More or less everybody, thankfully. NUS is the national body representing all students in the UK, including international students, and I'm very, very pleased to say that tomorrow NUS is actually launching the first ever International Students Conference. This was a long-awaited initiative, and I take this opportunity to announce today that the NUS and the NISU will be working together on more and more international students initiatives. We have Yinbo here, who is the International Students Officer. Thank you, Yinbo, for joining us. Tomorrow we'll also see the launch of a campaign called Students of the World. Students of the World is a special campaign launched by NUS to recognize the importance of international students in the country and hopefully get that post-study work visa back. So There are drinks waiting outside, there are some snacks waiting outside, so please do make your way outside and network with the guests and all the very special people here. Thank you so much for joining us today.